All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory due to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rechak Kodash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations and many blessings to you elect Akim across the four winds of this earth, and those men kicking this word in sincerity and in truth. All right, I'm the brother Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Dallas camp. And I wanted to do a quick lesson through the Spirit. Just wanted to go into a few things that I've been studying up on. Just want to, talk about it, and I'll really start in Revelation, the 3rd chapter. Now, before I start reading, it's just on my spirit to go into this. Just want to say, don't let the stuff out here in this world deceive you into thinking that it's something pleasurable. Okay, now we understand there's things on this side that, you might indulge in on occasions. But more importantly, this truth comes first, and a lot of these pleasures that are out here, again, they're meant to deceive you. And, we've done lessons going into this a few times, but I just read up on some history, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. But Satan will use those different vices out there in the world to really get you to fall off. And you won't even know that these pleasures in this world are steering you away from Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. You'll notice yourself not doing lessons as much, not studying as much, not reading as much. And you'll catch yourself really getting so-called, quote unquote, caught up in the quote unquote pleasures and glamours of this wretched life. When ultimately what we're fighting for salvation, and we're fighting to get the hell up out of here. All right, this thing ain't about just talking about getting up out of here, but right afterwards you just nosedive back into the world just to be seen by people. You know what I'm saying? Trying to seem so-called righteous in front of people, but behind closed doors, just being worldly. When Yahweh Shai had gave exhortation to guys like this here in this letter that I'm about to read. As I was reading this here in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, I'm just going to read the first verse. And it's this particular letter was given to a particular church, right out of the 7 churches that the Apostle John had written to, which ultimately were words spoken by Yahweh Shai. And as I was doing research going into this particular church, you can look at the vices of this particular church and see how this could apply to somebody in the truth that's not doing their due diligence in being a watchman, but being more engulfed in things in this world. Okay, so without further ado, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Again, it's not going to be too long, but I'm just going to bring out a few points on some things that I found out and just speak on a few things. But this is Revelation, the 3rd chapter, and I'm going to probably pretty much read verses 1 and 2. All right, so this is Revelation chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, "And unto the angel of the church in Sardis, write these things, that he hath the 7 spirits of the Most High and the 7 stars. I know thy works, that thou hast a name, that thou livest and art dead." Okay, so Yahweh Shai is telling John to write this particular message to this church, okay, in Sardis. Now, when you do research going into Sardis was a region over there among Turkey, which all the 7 churches, they were pretty much most of them were on the outskirts of Turkey. When you go into these different churches, all right, of course, you had the Romans that were in power around this time, but these different churches had history when you actually go into it. And the Israelites that had dwelt in those cities and those churches that were established, when you go into these different letters that are designed to these different churches, they were doing what they were doing to a degree what they needed to do within the spirit, but it was still vices that they were entangled with. And Yahweh Shai is giving these churches a warning of those things to watch out for. And as he had spoken those different messages to those churches, and I mentioned this in a previous sit down I've done a few weeks back, how he mentions these different vices, and also too, not only vices is he going into, but he's also going into different things that he wants these guys to keep doing in righteousness. We need to apply these things within ourselves. Okay. But we want to make sure that our righteousness is weighing out the negative that we might be doing. Okay. Now, just going back to the church in Sardis, when you research the church in Sardis, or Sardis in general, Sardis, and excuse me one second, I'm just gonna pull up my notes, and it might sound like I'm reading from a from a book, because I technically am reading from some notes. Okay. Now, ultimately, when you go into Sardis, Sardis was equated with money, or easy money. Whenever you think of an easy way to make money, back then, one of the first places you would think of is Sardis. Oh, I'm going to go to Sardis and make some money. Oh, Sardis is the place where they make that money. Okay. Now, ultimately, when you go into the history of Sardis and the reason why it was so, had that notoriety of being involved in money, 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 when you go into the history of it, there is actually, that's actually where the first coin-based currency was established. Now, when I say coin-based currency, I don't mean just like gold and silver. Of course, ancient kingdoms a lot of them have always had gold and silver. But when you actually go with a gold coin with certain impressions placed on it, that started in Sardis under a ruler who went by the name of Croesus. Okay. And he had actually had prints of himself on that money, and not even just of himself, but on like the currency you see today. It might have a president in the front of it. In the back, it might have a certain monument, going into it. That idea actually started in Sardis. Okay. So when you think of Sardis back then, you would think money. Okay. And they would actually had a form of a electrum, and that was pretty much, when you go into electrum, it was white gold. Okay, so they make coins out of white gold. It wasn't pure gold, but it was gold mixed with different minerals and different other metals, and they would give it that white tint. Okay. Now, also, when you go into it, let's see here. Again, in my notes, it says Sardis is a place where modern money was born. Okay, that modern money where you see today. All right. Also, too, it had a reputation for immorality. Of course, like all other places in Asia Minor. Okay. And that's why Paul was going over there and cursing those places out. You know what I'm saying? Because you had a lot of Israelites that were there who became Hellenized, didn't know they were Israelites. And a lot of them did know they were Israelites and still got caught up in the world. All right. And those different gods that was worshipped and so forth. You even look at the wicked scribes and the Pharisees. They were so into money. But this isn't involved in them. This is going into the brothers. All right. And through the Spirit, you're going to see how this gets linked up with today when I go into this history. OK. But, going back to ancient Sardis, there was a temple that was dedicated to Sybil. And the combination of easy money and loose moral environment made the people of Sardis soft and pleasure loving. OK. And that's one of the repercussions that comes with the love of money. Once you love money so much, or once you, I should say, get entangled with wanting to make so much money, you'll catch yourself starting to get involved in the pleasures of it without even really realizing it, thinking that you ain't doing nothing wrong. Matter of fact, that leads me to the scripture here I want to pull up really quick, and then I'm going to go back to it. I know I said it's going to be a short lesson, but now that I'm going into it, it's probably going to be about 25 minutes or so. Just bear with me one sec. Let's see here. All right. So I'm going to bring this out in the book of 1 Timothy. So like that's Thessalonians. We'll go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." All right. A lot of people say money is the root of all evil, but it's not, because the scriptures say money is a defense. But it's the love of money, which is the root of all evil. And what did Yahushua even say? He even when you go into the parable of the sower and the seed, all right, one of the seeds got thrown in thorny bushes, and those thorns had choked the life out of the seed, or wasn't able to grow. And he likened those thorny bushes to the riches and the cares of this world. So not even just the money, but what comes involved within that money, wanting to live that lifestyle, when you're still here in captivity. You're still here. You're a slave in Babylon. All right. And all this money has a very, I don't want to say this money, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much what's involved within that lavish lifestyle has Satan all over it. All right. So it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from faith. So when you go into the luxuries of this life, you'll catch yourself erring from the faith and not even realizing it. You'll be losing faith. You know what I'm saying? Again, when it comes to doing videos and reading, you have to have faith in order to do these things within sincerity. And you'll catch yourself not even do that as much. And we've seen it, Now, Lord forbid, this applies to any one of us that are sincere, that keep, you know what I'm saying? Lord forbid, this applies for any one of us here in the future. We want to make sure that we're on a steady path. But just being honest, we've seen it done. We've seen guys fall out the truth for certain jobs. We've seen certain guys get wavery and become lukewarm just because of the world, and that can cause you to err from the faith. It says, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of God, all right, take heed. All right, are we not men of the Lord? Thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold of eternal life, whereunto thou art also called, and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. Okay, so that's the name that we want to have among many witnesses. We don't want to just have a name and be out there to people looking outwardly at us and be like, man, this guy got it. But behind closed doors, you full of dead man's bones and you getting caught up in the lavish life, And again, in my few years in this truth, I've seen it done a few times, and I know guys that's been in here longer might have seen it done more. But with my minimal experience that I have within this truth, I've seen it done. Guys that were on fire end up falling out due to the world, women, their job, just wanting to live that luxurious lifestyle when you're still in captivity. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with liking nice things, but don't get to the point where it starts to choke you, choke the faith out of you, choke the patience out of you. It's like we all want the kingdom and we understand it, but the kingdom ain't going to be on this side. The kingdom is not going to be on this side. Just have to apply balance within these things, man. So going back to the church in Sardis, because again, Sardis was a place that was known for the love of money, and it was a church that was established there. So the things that were circulated around this church, the brothers that was involved with the brothers that was involved in the ministry in Sardis got intertwined with that. They got intertwined with that money, that luxury. Okay. Again, going back to it again, it had the reputation of immorality. In Sardis, there was a temple dedicated to simple. I'm just reading back to my notes. Going back, it says it was a combination of easy money and a loose moral environment that made people of Sardis soft and pleasure loving. So it could cause you to become soft in the faith. You get so involved in pleasures, you become weak, and you can apply the same thing with America. With us living over here, different big cities that are around. And, I live in Dallas, so you got, luxurious, quote unquote, luxurious places around here, So you can liken these places to these different cities that we see today. Okay. Just going back into it, also too, just when you really just look at it, man, and this is something that we should all know. This is something that we all know. This money ain't gonna bring you salvation, man. And if you catch yourself getting too involved in it, need to cut it out, man. If you catch yourself not doing videos, a week, 2 weeks go by, and you've only done 2 videos, but you sitting there on Netflix every day, or you catching yourself going to the mall all the time and getting stuff, you got to look at it like, dang, this could be time I could be investing to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Are we not priests? Are we not supposed to be offering up sacrifice unto the Lord? Are we not the sacrifice? Yahweh Shai said it best. Man cannot serve 2 masters. You can't serve the Most High in mammon And mammon goes to money and also the things that are around you that could get you caught up and entangled, because when you read it, going into Revelation 3, I'm going to read verse 2. Yahushua said, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before the Most High. All right. So the first thing he said in verse 2 is be watchful. And the more you get caught up in things in the world, it could cause you to err, and you could lose kind of your watch, become settled on your lease. You remember in Zephaniah 1 and 12, he says, I'm searching Jerusalem with candles. So eyes are on us at all times. In the times when you feel all that pleasure and all this, oh yeah, this lifestyle, take heed, take heed, man. Even at the end of verse 1 of Revelation 3, going back to the church in Sardis, he said, again, I know thy works. So Yahushua knows all of our works, that thou hast a name that thou livest, right? Okay, these guys had a name for themselves. Oh, the church in Sardis is this. Oh, the church in Sardis is that. Oh, these guys are in the spirit. Oh, these guys this from outward eyes. But he said, and thou art dead. Because Yahushua said, I know your work. So these outward eyes could look at you and say the oohs and the eyes and in the spirit. Oh, man. But dead. Why is that? Because you ain't doing the things that you're supposed to be doing through the spirit, which is death. As the scriptures say, matter of fact, I'm going to get it. One sec. This is Proverbs 21 and 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Okay, let's go to this word wandereth. The word is pronounced ta'ai, and it says to err, right? Did we just not read in 1 Timothy 6 talking about to err from faith? All right. Those riches can get you to, the love of money can get you to err from the faith, which means that you're going to wander off. It says to wander, go astray, to stagger. It says of sin, of intoxication, wandering, to be made to wander about, to made to stagger, to be drunk. A lot of that extra money, all that extra luxury. What comes with luxury as well? Just alcohol, just guzzling it down all the time. Cause you to, it just leads you astray. Get to the point where you want to pleasure the flesh more than pleasure Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So when you go into wandering, it doesn't only just mean a guy that just falls off and scoffs. No, there's a process behind it, man. Most of the time, guys just don't fall off. It's things that causes them to fall off. Satan's snares causes individuals to fall off. And we want to make sure we don't get caught in this, man. And a snare that Satan can use is luxury, because that can cause you to wander out of the way of understanding. How is that? Because, again, you'll be more engulfed in pleasing the flesh, pleasing the things that you see out here in the world than pleasing the Lord. Which means what? You're going to get further and further and further away from him, when our main job is to get closer to him. Okay? So, again, going back to that example, when you see the example of the church in Sardis, people looked at them and, they had the definition of them like life. Oh, yeah, money, life. Oh, these guys got it, But in the meantime, Yahushua said they dead. Why is that? Because they were wandering out of the way of understanding due to that luxurious lifestyle, and it caused them to be settled on their lease. That's why Yahushua said, I know thy works. Are we not being searched with candles? So our works are being seen, Hey, Elder Monagan, I didn't watch it yet, Elder, but in the chat, you would have brought up you would have brought this up, and I'm just gonna read it. And these prayers definitely help, man. But Elder Monagan had said this, man. He said he had done a video for a quick prayer for your gift. And the reason why I'm bringing this out, whatever our gift is, Lord willing, I'm gonna watch the video after this. You know what I'm saying? But if it comes to the point where you feel like you staggering and wandering and getting involved, first and foremost, pray. But also think to yourself and sit down, man. What is your gift? And then pray for your gift to be enhanced. That way you don't got to worry about the stuff that's out here, but you'll be more involved in serving the Lord and allowing your special gift to grow so you can glorify the Lord more. That's why I wanted to bring that point out. You know, negate, not negate, but pretty much separate from Satan through the spirit, man. When I say separate from Satan through the spirit, whenever you feel like you might be enticed, you know what I'm saying, in that lifestyle, that money lifestyle, this, that, and the third, man. Hey, man, get involved in them scriptures, you know. Even Elder Arianaza did a lesson a few years back, and I remember it. I don't remember the title, man, but pretty much went into how, and if you listen to the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, pretty much went into how Satan is going to present business opportunities in front of your way to get you to cause you to err, man. And it can get to the point where you might even be so into that, to the point where you ain't reading like you should be, ain't doing your lessons like you should be, but so into making money. Now, of course, we understand there's balance involved. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with staying busy, you know, but Satan can use it as a trap to get you separated if you ain't rooted, you know? So, I mean, hey, man, I could go on and on and on, but as I was doing some studying going into the church of Sardis, you know, it made me just think of a few things and just wanted me to, you know, the spirit wanted me to just put this on wax, man. All right. Don't let the luxuries blind you. Don't let these all this stuff out here that's in front of you blind you, man, because it's all going to get burnt to hell up at the end of the day. You know, now, of course, that don't mean you sit in your house all day and don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that at all, but just be balanced and be prudent is what I'm saying. You know, choose the Lord first, put him first, you know, and you'll see a change. You'll feel the change. You'll feel more invigorated, you know? So, hey, man, Lord, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to end it off on that. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations and many blessings to you elect Akim across the four winds of this earth, kicking this word of sincerity and in truth. Shalom.